I just figured out something amazing. If you're here, then you must have seen Found Footage 3. And if you haven't, go watch it. But also, if you haven't seen it, then there's this monster that Kane Parsons calls Still Life. I might just be crazy here, but I think this is Peter Tench. Now, before you say no, I have a bit of evidence. And you can correct me if I'm wrong in the comments on who you actually think that it might be. So we can hear async employees talking, but no one thinks it's async except me, I think. Now, I think it was async, but it could be Peter Tench's walkie-talkie from the past, future, or present. Now, something that made me think was, is that actually async, or is that Peter Tench, the monster?
Or something else?
Is it still life? Is it a whole new entity? I guess it's our own Peter Tench so far, and you'll see why soon. So we also see that the monster, Still Life, has a hideout of some sort. We see chairs against a garage or doors. There are books in a circle. And there are just so many random objects, like chairs, and a drawer and a locker. Even a heater and a desk of some sort, I think. This whole place looks like a human lives here, or tried to replicate a home. It could be the Backrooms doing this, but also, it could be whoever is here. Let's just say that Peter is Still Life, and Still Life is Peter. Maybe Peter is longing, grieving, not moving on, holding onto his life while he slowly dies and gets more and more ill, and more dead, and more miserable. This is kind of a way of life, like ghosts that don't want to move on. Not to mention that there's a song by Kane Parsons called Ghost, and as we see in Found Footage 3, this scene is a lot like talking to a ghost. Hi, this is Editing Jesse here. Ghost is used in a scene in Backrooms Reunion, and Peter Tench is also in this scene. So, yeah, I just wanted to point that out. Sorry about the really bad audio, I'm not in a very great area right now. It's so loud here, and the freaking birds, man. Stop it.
I don't understand. How is this possible? I can hear you, but...
I don't know, man. I don't know. I just need to go home.
Why can't you leave?
I just told you there's no exit or anything.
Okay, alright.
Hi, sorry. This is Editing Jesse again. Sorry to disappoint you. I just wanted to point out the fact that a poem by Kane Parsons is about the Backrooms, and I'm gonna show some imagery to kind of connect with Peter Tench on this whole poem.
And everything I've been talking about.
So just have a watch of this.
A pillar, truncated, cast down to the seabed with all the other forgotten things. But I remember. Fleeting shells sinking ever slowly, folding downwards into themselves, forever tearing along the seams of the sky, until nothing remains except the eternal ghost. And you ask yourself, could there ever be anything greater than this?
the meaning of a truncated pillar is a symbolism of the idea of a life cut short or unfinished.
Cast down to the seabed with all the other forgotten things.
Just like Peter.
But I remember.
Peter remembers dying.
Fleeting shells.
I think this is about Peter reliving the fact that he's dead instead of moving on. And a seam is a connection or bridge between something, like Backrooms and reality. In this case, Peter is the eternal ghost, trapped forever.
And you ask yourself, could there ever be anything greater than this?
I think this is a sarcastic way of him saying, is there anything greater than what has happened to me? Because of Async, the Complex, and Ivan Beck. Now there's one question that I hear you saying. Okay, but isn't Ivan the one talking in this? But on the Kane Pixels Backrooms wiki, it says a narrator talks in this. So there's no actual confirmation on who is actually talking. And if Kane Parsons has confirmed that Ivan is talking in this, then he's right. Have a listen of this.
You've always been here.
This has to be Ivan. Okay, like seriously. I don't think Peter can be the one saying, you've always been here. I think that what is being showed here is Ivan saying to himself, Peter has always been here, on the other side of the walls, in the back rooms. Okay, now with all of that out of the way, let's go back a bit. A quick recap. I said a scene is like talking to a ghost.
I don't understand. I can hear you, but
I know. I just need to go home.
why can't you leave?
So as I said
I just
before,
told you there's
yeah, this is just like talking to a ghost. You can't see the ghost, but you can only hear them. Extremely similar to ghost stories, and I've heard a lot of them. And as I said earlier, there is a thing called a poltergeist, and it is classified as a ghost. It can move objects, make loud noises, and throw objects. This is a scene from an actually real ghost show, where a man named Alan Tiller goes down and tries asking if the ghost can make some noise. He then got interviewed a bit later, and they actually heard some noises while he was talking about not hearing noises earlier.
Sounds like doors rattling. That sounds like footsteps right now. There's no one up there. We're very much alone in here, and there's definite noises up there. I think we need to get Ian back out here.
So then they bring out two people, who are also ghost hunters.
Can you come forward and talk to us? Make a noise.
Is anyone here with us? Tap 3 times. Where's that coming from?
1, 2, 3. It's coming from over there.
And also, I'm very sure that this is a real ghost show. You should also watch it for yourself, though it might be scary for anyone who's under 12, and definitely have adult supervision. It is rated M after all. I think Peter here tried recreating life when he was human or alive, and he's not moved on, but moving objects. He's still trapped in the past, and he's not moving on, like a poltergeist moving things around, trying to make things how he wants it, trying to recreate a life. Which is actually another song by Kane Parsons, oh my gosh! But when you really think about it, it's just very sad. I don't know if he moves on or not.
Oh my god.
And I guess that we'll have to wait and see. For now though, Peter is still holding on to his life. Still life. His life has stopped. He is alone and dying. Still life. Peter is still trying to hold on to his life. I think that's what's been trying to be said here. Then again, I could be wrong. But you remember my theory on how I said that Ivan is probably a nice guy? He just wants to make a place where you can store an item that holds lots of memories in it, like a vase. Or vase, I can't remember how to say it properly. Anyway, the lesson that was meant to be taught here is that sometimes we need to move on. Even if that means throwing away something that has precious memories. But sometimes it's good, you know? Sometimes you can have that, because it's kind of like a barrier to protect yourself from anything that you think is causing you harm. Or going to cause you harm. See, that's just anxiety. I'm not a therapist, but I think that's mostly anxiety. Our brains tend to overthink and think of the worst thing that could possibly happen, when really, it's not going to happen. I think this is kind of like a psychological story. The psychological effects of loneliness, and the psychological effects of having to move on, of loss and grief, and how to move on from such things. I think that all Peter needs to do right now is move on. But we don't know if that's ever going to happen yet. So now, we can say that Peter TENCH is a ghost. And I think that's because of the disease that I theorize is in the Backrooms, but that's a theory for another day. Little side note here, I searched up what it means if your life is still, and I think I got the answer right here. What does "my life is at a standstill" mean? A situation in which no progress can be made or no advancement is possible. Synonyms: dead end, stalemate. Situation: a complex or critical or unusual difficulty, which is also kind of like finding your way out of the Backrooms. Now let's have a look at how this still life behaves. Extremely human-like. It is very distorted, and very hard to tell what it actually looks like. But we can all agree on one thing. This thing does look like a human. Even the way it runs is human. Like a trapped soul, slowly dying inside of a dead body. Still not convinced? Look at this. A freeze frame. And to think, all I had to do was this. Though there is a freeze frame that doesn't exactly make sense. This one. It's got more humanoid features than an async employee. But now changing the curve of the colors gives us this. It looks more like a skeleton of some sort. And wavy arms. But then messing around with the curve and turning up the yellow on the HSL gave me this. And remind me again, what do the people of async wear? Hazmat suits with yellow and respiratory masks, which actually, now that I think about it, look a lot like skulls. So I know how bad this video is gonna look, but this, to me, looks like Peter TENCH. After he fell and hit his head, they found his body and they threw it into the Backrooms. Ivan must have felt pretty bad about doing this though, but I don't think he realized that this would happen. Now looking at this freeze frame, it looks like the hazmat suit has come off a bit, which is why it looks almost like a tuxedo or a shirt. But it might also just be Peter in his suit from Backrooms Damage Control. And he probably had a walkie-talkie, which is why he's able to replicate noises of people. Also, this thing has a bit of intelligence. A bit of human intelligence. It can turn on lights. And it can knock on doors. After a while of TENCH doing this, the monster part of him activates. He goes into animal instincts of kill, kill, kill. Now there may be a part 2 of this, but for now, sadly, I'm finished with making this episode. And let me just say, I loved doing this, and this is so much fun, and a heap of work went into it. Now this is the part where I'd ask you to like and subscribe, but I won't. You can make up your own mind. You're an intelligent human being. And my theory, I think so far is cool, pretty well written, but I can't say for sure. So tell me your thoughts and opinions on what I've said down in the comments below, and then I can have a further think about who this might be. For all we know, it could be a random entity, may not be even a person, and as Kane said, it's not a virus or a zombie thing, or a disease, I think. At least I think. I don't know. But, it's never been, what I've said has not been confirmed. And I'll have all of Kane Parsons' videos and songs and everything that I used here linked in the description. Have a great day, everyone. Bye!